Hello, and welcome to the box room. It's funny, sometimes we forget that some people probably have not seen the C64 Diagnostic Rev 586220, which I don't know what all that means. But anyway, I have now had this running, well, it says 10 hours, 49 minutes, I think it's really rolled over. It has run 1,401 times, and it has so far not had any errors. So it does 0 page, stack page, screen RAM test run, RAM test 1, RAM test 2, PLA test, color RAM, kernel ROM, basic ROM, character ROM, cassette, keyboard, control port, serial port, user port, timer 1A, timer 1B, timer 2A, timer 1B, interrupt, and of course, the sound test, which means the SID chip. And then it does it all again and again and again and again and again. Now, so what this comprises, now if you just have the cartridge, you will get errors that aren't errors. But there's a harness. The harness connects to the user port, the cassette port, the serial port, the two joystick ports. The monitor, of course, connects to the video port, otherwise you couldn't see anything. And then the cartridge goes in the cartridge port. So if you have a really dead machine, of course, it won't work. It won't. Anyway, I'm sticking my finger in just to see how we're doing on heat. And remember, I have the machine in a vertical position, so the heat should be rising away. And there are two Commodore 64 power supplies that had the wire snipped off that are holding it in place. And it continues to go through. Now for the 1403rd time. So I'm assuming this is the 1404th time. Now, did I intend to leave it on this long? No, but did I, it's not a bad thing to really let something, go. So I turn everything off except for the actual machine. Let it go. Let me, actually, I should check the power supply. Yeah, the power supply is warm. But that's okay. It's not overly warm, and it's certainly fine. Actually, what I should do, once I decide that I've had enough of this, is to also, because the power supply probably won't be running this long ever again, I should check the voltage. I should. So when it does the sound test, and this one I like, there are some of them that do a sound test, but they only test the first three voices. They don't test the fourth. So then how do you know? Is it working? I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. But there it is. Round and round and round it goes. So far, this 64 that followed me home, that, of course, I try not to have these things happen. Oh, but they do. Oh, excuse me. I have started to put the microphone much closer to my throat and my neck, as I see them doing on television, because then I know it gets recorded well. Oh dear. My phone is ringing. Oh well, let it ring. One thing I often forget to do, which I should do, is I need to see if I'm recording on, this is on an iPhone, if I'm recording on it and a messenger call comes through or something, it will stop the recording. So what I need to really remember to do, and I do most of the time, but not all the time, remember to turn off the Wi-Fi so that if a call comes in, that it won't interrupt me. Now, of course, when I'm recording some of the other things that I do, like maybe Call of Duty and other things, I can't not be connected to the internet. There is probably a way that I can tell it not to pester me. Because, of course, if a call comes through, the recording stops. It just do. Anyway, so I know this is exciting. Probably the most exciting part is when, well, besides the sound check, is when you see the little cursor. There it is. The screen RAM running across the screen. Isn't it lovely? Whoosh. And then it moves on. And really, from what I've been finding more and more and more and more, is most likely, not always, but a lot of the times, the troubles with some of these old machines is indeed RAM chips. The other ones are pretty much, well, we are what we are. We stay, we hold our values. We do with our thing. Doesn't mean other chips don't fail. Like certainly PLA chips fail. And I mean, anything can fail. But most everything I fixed in the last while, doing with pets and 4040s and 2031s and everything, it was all RAM chip failures, every single one. Anyway, so here is the Commodore 64 Diagnostic Rev 586220. There is another one that I have used. I don't have the harness for it, but I'm hoping that at the World of Commodore this year that maybe I'll get it. The other thing I'm hoping is that if something happened and it's kind of half working, I've got to find it. It's made by Retro Rewind, or I guess the website is retrorewind.ca, and they make all kinds of good things. And they help they help support the TPUG conference, otherwise known as the World of Commodore, and they seem like pretty okay people, and they do good things. They recap things, but also they have these kits. If you want to recap your 64, and you don't want to go to the electronics store and try and find every little thing that you need, you can get the kit from them, and I'm sure they make a little bit on it, but it certainly is a whole lot easier. Have I done this yet? No. Will I do this? Yes, I suspect I will. I suspect I will, but I am hoping that I can get the Retro Rewind harness and get the cartridge sorted out. I've got to dig through here and find it because I want to take it to the World of Commodore and say, look, something is wrong here, and I don't know what is wrong. Help me. All right, well, I think I will let this run a little while longer, and then I will check the, what will I check? Oh, I'll check the voltage on the power supply that I'm testing as well, and maybe while I'm set up like this, maybe I'll get out my joystick and try a couple of games. We'll see. Anyway, I wish there was a way that somehow I had an input directly into something that I could better record these screen things off of, in this case, an 1802. But so far, this is all I know how to do is set up and record. So, see you at the World of Commodore, December 2nd and 3rd at the Admiral INN in Mississauga, Ontario. I will be there. And remember, if you have a power supply for a 64 or the later VIC-20s that has the round DIN plug, and you don't know if it's okay or not, we can test the 5-volt side, and that will, not always, but it pretty much tells the tale. If the 5 volts is high, it's bad. It will kill the machine. It will. The other side, I understand, is it can fail, and I've seen it fail, and I've snipped off wires because I had, as I've said this story, I had a beautiful Commodore 64 power supply, absolutely gorgeous. It was a white one. It had, the Commodore logo. I was like, oh, this is great. And the 5 side was just beautiful, and the 9 side was screwed. Screwed. Anyway, so off came the wires. All right, well, thanks for coming. Have a lovely day. We'll see you again soon. From the box room, David Bradley, signing off.